me clearly? Somebody to confirm. But you'll need to click access from your screen. There's a pop-up that will be there. Click accept and click request elevation as well. So the first thing we did, maybe you can just listen, but I'll need you to listen and watch what you're doing. Then I'm recording this class as well, and I'll share the recording at the end of today, before today ends, before midnight. We'll upload it and record and share. But I want you to follow up what you're doing. It's not as complicated as such. So we talked about variable being a phenomenon of interest. So a variable is a phenomenon of interest. So a researcher, whatever researcher is interested in, we can call it a variable. And we talked about the different types of variables. And this type of variables can be categorized into the types of data. And the first one we talk about is numeric, and we have string. And we said string will be referring to it as what? Categorical data types. So we said numeric are data types that are basically numbers 0 to 9. String are what we call sequence of text, A to Z. So I'm repeating this for the sake of Mbuti who has joined us today. We went to numeric data types and look at the subcategories below each of these two broad categories. Then discrete, we said these are whole numbers. And I gave an example of how many chances have you missed today. So you can only miss 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chances. You can't tell me you missed 1.2 chances. The example here is right as saying how many times have you missed your flight. So the possible responses here are basically 1, 2, 3, 4. They are whole numbers or what you call integers. You can't tell me you missed 1.2 flights. You can't quantify 0.2 flight. The next thing we talked about is continuous under numeric. So numeric, they have been categorized into two: continuous or discrete. And discrete, these are decimals. So if you ask about your weight, your height, your temperature, they can take fractional parts. Sometimes in other languages, in other programs, they are referred to as byte and float. We went to categorical data types, which I say can either be ordinal or nominal. Ordinal or nominal. And ordinal, I said these ones you can order them. These are categorical or string data types that has a formal or a standard way of ranking them. So for instance, this was salary. This was salary. Salary can either be somebody is earning from this point to this point. You can rank this guy as on a lower side as compared to somebody's earning between 20 to what? To 30,000. We talked about age. So if age is grouped, then it is ordinal. We came to nominal and we said nominal data types. These ones do not have a formal way of ranking them. If I ask you about your gender, you can't tell me male and female, one is greater than the other. No. Departments, courses, or let's say education, in terms of somebody is doing education, somebody is doing med, somebody is doing, these are courses basically. So courses, you can't rank these. For example, somebody using mathematics, education, there is no way of ranking these categories. So basically that is what we did. And we did data entry. That was our first, that was the first thing that we did. We did data entry and we looked at how to do data entry for what. I have not gotten the file, the file that you use for data entry. And we said you can either do multiple, what we call single select questions. And these are questions where you can only choose one response. Single select questions. and we also looked at multiple select questions. So Pukumbuti, you look at, there's a video I shared on our group WhatsApp wall. Make sure you watch it on how to do single select and multiple select questions. So I'm not going to do into this one. Today we are going to jump into something. So we want to do we want to know how to do data management and running frequencies and descriptive statistics. So the goal of today is our goal is basically to understand how to run data management and under data management we're going to do two things. We're going to do three things. The first one is called recording a variable. So sometimes you understand we are doing quantitative analysis, and I said at the beginning that this software called spss only understands the language of what? Numbers. If you do anything that is numerical, that is string, it won't understand. So we're going to know how to record variables, and recording variables basically means it's a transformation where you change from one variable type, assuming we have a numeric, i.e., changing a variable from string to numeric or category. So basically, string to numeric. So we're going to know how to do recording. Then we are going to know how to do select. So select, and we are going to know how to do split. Of course, we had already started doing what we call, so these ones are going to do them under descriptive statistics, descriptive and frequencies and descriptive. So we already started on frequencies by now doing, we want to know how many males, I wanted to know how many males and female were there, and we did something on frequencies. We wanted to know how many people said, for example, the ones who talked about strongly agreeing and strongly not agreeing. We wanted to know how the sources of awareness were created, how people were responding in terms of their source of awareness. Again, the next one we're going to do is called compute. So these three concepts, we'll cover them today. Compute. So compute is basically arithmetic, how to operate, how to do an operation on SPSS. So let's start by record. And the data that you have given us is called employee dataset. So let me open employee. It's here. So if you double click on it, it opens with the SPSS, and I am sure you guys have been able to open that. Let me close the others. My yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Okay, good. Let me show you how to. Let me. There's a problem. Let me show you how to get this data set. So you are having an SPSS that is open right way, this way, right? You have this. I want you to now have, just leave alone the one I shared with you. I want to show you the process of getting that data without downloading the one I've shared. Okay. So to get that data set, I want you to come to File. Just follow with me. Go to File. Are you at File? Okay. I thought you had opened a spaces. Okay. Okay. You have the interface that looks this way. The one that looks clear. This is what I want you to have. If you have anything that is not this, then you're on the wrong page. Okay. You have one that looks this way, right? You don't have an interface that looks this way. if you open SPSS, the one that I installed on your laptop, this one, just double click on that software. That is basically what I want you to do and open. Let it open. Do you have something that looks this way? Oh, okay, okay, okay. Well, that is best. So I want you to look at what I'm doing as you wait for it to load. Can you see my screen? So I want you to go to File. Are you at File? I want you to click Open, then Data. Are you here? Click Open and Data. It will give you an interface that looks this way. A dialog box like this one, right? It has given you this. Yeah. So I want you to just click on this drop down arrow and navigate your local disk C. Once you see local disk C, click on local disk C. Click this arrow. Then you cannot down this process. So once maybe you need the data again to try whatever you'll be doing with it, you can come back to this and have the data without having to the one that you have already cleaned. So I wanted to click at this point and look for local disk C. Navigate. Basically, it's basically navigating C. Then you can see there is Intel, Pavlov's program files, users and Windows. You can see those are 6 folders. I want you to click on program files x86. Just click on the brown part and you'll have these folders as well. Uko hapa? Program files x86. That is what I want you to click on. Click on the brown part, double click on it to open. Click on IBM. Double click on IBM, it will take you to SPSS. Do you have SPSS? Do you have statistics? Double click on it again to get statistics. Get 25. Are you at 25? 20. Okay, mine is 25. That is still okay. Double click tena ikupeleke kwa this accessibility up to PC 9. Then look at sample. Na place imeandikwa samples. Samples. Click on samples. Yeah. Yeah, tafuta. Click on English. Then these are all data sets. They have so many. So are you at this point? Yeah, so I want you to click. Unaona hapa kumeandika file name. Type E and we'll see employee appear down here. Employee dataset. Yes, so once it's here when umeandika ukiclick ukifinya tu E itakuletea employee, then click on employee hapa venye na click, then click open. Then you'll have the same data that we are having. So sometimes the reason why I didn't want you to go through that process, you can see it's a long process, right? But it's simple, long but simple. So I just wanted you to know how to get it, how to get there. Okay? That's why I saved this file and shared with you. So we have this data set, and I want us to do what these three concepts. Recording a variable. So the reason why we're recording is because if you ever get your data set, the first thing you look at the variable names. Variable names. Look at the variable names. Look at their data type. Look at their type. Look at their type. Look at the type, basically the type of data you are having. Look at the label, and lastly look at the measure. So before I forget, after label, look at the value. Look at value. Place the value it has. Okay. So these are the checkpoints. Basically, names orient you on the variables you are dealing with. Okay, you know what you're dealing with. Names, this one and this one. Basically, they tell you your variables, their names. Okay, it's a description about whatever data types you're dealing with. So these ones tells you the program you're going to analyze it. So remember, we are dealing with quantitative analysis. So we are only able to we will be able to analyze what? Only numbers. Okay. So make sure it's numeric. This one, make sure it's numeric. All your variables are numeric if you're using SPSS, because anything that is not numeric, you can't analyze it on this software. These rules are very simple and they are very direct. The value will tell you if you have categorical variables. This will tell you if you have categorical or missing categorical. If you have categorical variable, basically that is what we need to know. Are these variables, are they categorical or are they continuous in nature? So it's either categorical or numeric. So make sure all your variables are numeric. And if you want to know whether a variable is categorical or numeric, just check whether we have categories at the value. So the value is what the value I'm talking about is here. So the first thing, look at the name, ID, and the label. So the name and the label, these two will tell us what are you dealing with. This is basically an ID is an employee code in this organization. Gender, basically gender. B date is date of birth. Educ is basically education level in years. Job cut is basically employment category. Salary is basically current salary. Sal begin is a beginning salary, while job time is months since hire. Prev X is basically previous experience in months. Minority is what you call a minority classification. That is how to explore your data. The first thing, look at their names. The second, look at the type. Are all these variable numeric, or if not, it's either currency, which is dollar, or date. But remember, we can't analyze date here. We can't analyze string here. So string, we will need to do what I'm talking about as recording. That is why I've come up with this concept called recording a variable. It is a variable transformation technique that changes the variable type from string to numeric. Is that okay? Are we together up to that point? Are we together? Sylvester, Doris, Cyrus, Mbuti, Joyce. Are we together? Are we getting what I'm talking about? Yeah, so basically, what necessitates variable transformation is when you see you have a string variable within your data. So for instance, this variable called gender is string. We need to change it to numeric. Again, come to your data view. Once you're done looking at the data view, again, look at this point. Look at the value. You can see we have F and M. Look at the measure. So this is male is nominal, scale, ordinal. Basically, doesn't matter so much, but these points are very important. These ones. You need to understand the variables you're dealing with, and you need to understand the values, data types, and values. So at this point, we already identify that gender is string. And the reason why we need to change this string to numeric is because if you're going to do analysis, further analysis, we might not the SPSS might not understand what is F and M because those are basically text. They are sequence of characters or text. I hope you are together. So what I'm going to do is I want us to record these variables. This variable called gender. And how do I record it? To record this variable, I come to transform. Then we can see this compute, programming, programmability, count, value, shift. There's a record into same variable, record into different variable, and we have automatic record. So these ones are manual ways of doing record. Where record into same variable, it means it doesn't change this variable. So it only replaces what is here. But that is, it might be a problem if you do record a variable into same variable and you do it the wrong way. Then you'll lose your work, your data. Recording into a different variable, it is what is recommended. In this class, we are going to know how to do automatic record, which is basically an easier way of doing avoiding these manual methods, which I'll show us how to do either way, and do it automatically. So how do I do automatic? How do I change this variable from string to numeric? So if you come to your data view, just expand this column and try to use this button to change from what? To change from, you can see the variables. If I click this value label, it gives me the labels for my values. Look at those three columns. Those are the variables that are changing. It tells you that this is categorical, this is categorical, and this is categorical. Another thing you need to notice is the icon. Look at that three circles at up. But this one is having an A because it's a string. So if you ever see this, the ones that are having these icons, it means they're categorical. The ones that are having these inakaa kama Karola, those are numeric variables. So you can differentiate between a numeric variable and a categorical variable very easily. The first way, just click on this value label. It will tell you the ones that are changing, the ones that are having categorical variables. So once you understand that these ones are having categorical variables, but you can see these are values. They are numeric, 0 and 1s, 1 to 3. Those are numeric. But if you come to gender, we are having M and F. And M and F are text. The software does not understand what is M and F. If you tell it to analyze M and F, it won't give you anything. Especially when you're going to now do an advanced level of now, let's say chi-square regression and such kind of things. So at this point, we need to transform this variable called gender. The others are okay. This is numeric, this is numeric. Yes, yes, yes. Mhm. Can you share your screen? Maybe you can just fungua tu kamera ya simu alafu nionyeshe. I'll see it from this point. Let me pin you so that I can see it bigger. Just badilisha the back camera, then unionyeshe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you on your phone, you can change to camera, then show me the other side. So I want to see. Let me pin that one. Let me stop sharing first, then I see what you are having. Mhm. Make it stable. Make it a little bit stable, so it doesn't have the icons. Okay, but I'm sure where there's somewhere we're going to. I want you to go to. Just try to do this. Whether you'll see. If you come to analyze, then come to frequency. Do you see them here? Analyze, then come to analyze, descriptive, and frequency. I'm saying, look at my screen. Look at what I'm doing. Just before you start doing, just look at my screen. I want you to look at my screen. Analyze, Come to descriptive. Oh, okay. I'll stop sharing. Sorry about that. So I'm having analyze. Can you see my screen now? Let me unpin you so that I can show you. Come to analyze, descriptive, then frequency. Do you see the icons here? Yeah, so I think it's because I'm using version 25 and they're using version 20. Is that okay? That is basically the difference. Yeah, it doesn't mean there's any some error. It's basically that. Okay. So, but if you come here, you can see this one is having an equal. The icons are the same, right? Oh, good now. So I think we are on the same page, right? So I'm saying once you explore your data, look at the ones that are categorical. Either way, you can see this is just number. The ones that are not changing, definitely they are numeric. The ones that are not changing, that is another way of identifying. The ones that are not changing are definitely numeric. So just explore your data from variable view to data view. Come and this, but you remember this button we are using it the other day, the class we had. So remember this button, it tells you the labels we are having for each value. So for this one, you have M and M. So let's do automatic record. So come to automatic. This is the easiest way and the most efficient way to do recording, especially if you have several variables. So at this point, I can just click automatic record and it will ask me which variable do I want to auto record. So the variable I want to auto record is gender. So transfer it to the variable box by clicking this point. Alternatively, you can drag it. Another way, you can double click on it. It will be transferred to this other side. So once you're on this other side, you can see variable and the new name, and you can see there's a question mark, the question marks. So they want a new variable name. So the only thing you're doing is giving it a new variable name. So how do I give it? Let's say call it gender 2 or gender recorded. Gender, remember the naming rules hold. This is a variable name. So gender recorded, I'll call it gender recorded. Or you can call it gender 2. Just make sure you giving it a name that you can remember. So at this point, I'll just click what? Add a new name. Then you'll see this is active. Click there and you'll have an output that looks this way. Gender into gender recorded. The old value is this one, the new value is 1 and 2, and the label value is male and female. So if I come back to my data, just minimize this one and come back to your data, you'll see you have a new variable added. Sorry, there's a new variable added and the variable is called gender recorded. And if you toggle in here, you can see it has the same as this one. But now we're having 1 and 2. I don't know whether that is clear. Anybody mwenye hajaelewa hapo. Transform, auto record. Then the only thing you need to do is change the variable name. Change the variable name to what? Let's say gender 2. The variable name has to be unique because if you just write gender, it duplicates an existing variable name. So basically, this variable name duplicates an existing variable. That's why you can't just give it gender again. So you have to be gender something. So gender underscore 2, gender underscore 2, then it accepts. Then if I click OK, it transforms my variable. You can see it transforms my variable and I have it done this way. Look at it here. So I have two variables. The first one I was demonstrating with, and they're the same variable. So it has done that transformation for me automatically. If you come to this other side, look at it. It's now numeric. You can see it's now numeric, but having the same values, male and female. That is the easiest way you can ever do recording because if you're given data, let me demonstrate. I like using real examples. So the friend of mine who is doing a study on something on wildlife, especially in Kajiado County. Do I have the data set here? So let me just look at. Do I have the data set here? I think it's supposed to be somewhere here. all our classes recorded. So I wanted to demonstrate how you will get your data. So for example, this data called Nelson Kibet is a data set on study on, so I'll use part of it. I'll not use everything. I'll use part of it to demonstrate. So assuming you have these variables. So let me say 1 to 10. 1 to 10 is something on, yeah. So let me copy this one. So I have this data set. I have this data set. And you can see I have variable gender, indicate your age brackets up to, let's say, the last one. So I'm going to save it, demo. That is, let me save it, demo. Then I show you how I'm going to import it and do the recording. That is basically what you need to do before running any frequencies. So I'm going to call it demo. You have seen it. So I'm going to open a new word, SPSS, and I'm going to open data. So opening data, I'm going to navigate back to the place where I've stored this one, downloads, and it's under project document. So at this point, the next thing you need to do is make sure you confirm that you can see this is only a SPSS file, the file type. Because we are dealing with Excel, I'll check Excel. If you forget that, you'll be like, you won't see your files here. I'll just click Excel. If you make sure that this is, if only the first one is checked, you can see this one for SPSS data, you won't see your data here, especially if the data is Excel. So if it is a CSV, if it is a text, if you're given any file in either format, make sure you check that. Come to file, then open. So the process is the same. Open. If you're opening inside this SPSS, then you have to go to local disk C and follow the procedure that I gave you. If you are opening it from your desktop or downloads, wherever you save your document, just know where you are, the path where your document is. So from this point, it's under project documents. But I need to record that variable. The dataset is called demo, but it is an Excel. So I'll make sure I check Excel. Or if it's a CSV, make sure you check CSV. If it is a text file, make sure you check a text file. So for this case, I'm going to check Excel and I will see my data here, demo. Then I click open. So it will load for some few seconds. It will give me a preview of my data. You can see how the data has been imported to SPSS. So I have it here. I'll just click some few more. Then I click OK. So if I click OK, I have the data here. But if I come to my variable view, I click this one. All these variables are what? A string. Look at this one. So if you're having string variables, it is easier to do automatic record than recording one by one. These are the records. So the reason I'm teaching automatic record because it's an easier way of doing the record. So how do I do it? I'll just click here. And now that I know all my variables, you can see even the icon, they are string. I'll just click Control A to select everything, transfer them to this other side, then start giving them names. So this is gender 2. I can even call it question 1, Q1. I can call it Q1. I can call this one Q2 to save on time. Q2. Q2 is gender, then this is marital status, Q3. So this is how the work, the data that you collect via Nkobo or via Monkey Survey or any other ODK or any other online tool you are that you use for data collection, get it to Excel, then take it to your SPSS this way. So do it. Question 4, click add. Question 5, Q5, click add. Question 6, Q6. So this is Q6, then I click here, Q6, add, scroll up, Q7. Assuming you have several, for example, this guy had about 82 variables. So 82 variables, you can't do it one by one, auto recording into same variable. I'll show you how to do auto recording into same variable and a different variable. You're like, I don't need that one anymore. So Q7, that is question 7, Q8, Q9, Q10, this is Q10, Q11, until you don't see any question marks, Q11, Q12, And then maybe this one you can just call it size of land, size of household subdivision, size household subdivision. I can call it household subdivision. There is no space. Remember, there is no spaces between variable name. Subdivision. So anybody if you missed the previous class, make sure you go through that video. So at this point, I click OK, and you can now see what it has done for me. It has given me, for example, male and female one and two, one up to the last one. That is very, very easy. And if you come now to variables, you realize that the variables have been tripled. It has been doubled. So I need to just clear these other ones because I'm not going to use the one that has string. The one that I'm going to analyze are numeric. So numeric doesn't mean string doesn't mean is it's wrong. You might find you might have a string variable, but you can't analyze it at this point. So I'm going to use what clear, and I have my variables, and you can look at the label. That's why I was saying labels are very important. So if your variable doesn't have a label, somebody won't maybe unless they have this one. But still, they need to know what is gender. So question one is gender, two is length. Yeah, you can see this is very, very important. And now if I click here, I just have numbers showing us that is numeric. Anybody who has not understood the concept of record, I'll repeat. Anybody who has not understood the concept of record. Doris, are we okay? Yes, Sylvester, just ask a question before I ask. Mhm. No, you haven't seen what I've done, right? So you can see I have two groups of data, and I've said you clear out this other string. Just highlight, then clear. Right click and clear because you're not going to do them. You're not going to analyze them anyway. If you leave them there, you'll confuse yourself when you're doing the analysis. You might use a variable that is string, and you get an error, and if your own error is really hard to look at it. You can't see it. The hardest thing finding your own error. So that's why I say just because you can see from here it is a repetition gender. You can see this gender and this gender is the same thing. So just highlight and clear. So I'll share with you that file called the demo so that you can try this one. Okay. Mm-hmm. uh Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, actually if you do this one tunaona inakuja hapa chini. If you do this one inakuja hapa chini. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So where is the end of these questions? Where is the end of these questions? Sini hapa kumaanisha imekuja chini, like zimeanza zikienda chini. Si basically imerepeat zote zikijipanga hivyo. Uh-huh. I want you to just compare what I'm talking about. Just tell me now. What do you mean by ilienda chini na ingine? Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. This one. Exactly. See, it's here. That's why I've just cross tabulated them. Yeah. Mhm. It- So basically, when you will drag, because if you record, it comes in a calculate hizi zote inakuja to the last one. Inaanza from the next option. So hii maybe you may drag hapa. You can drag this one actually. You can drag it to anywhere you want it. You can see. Okay, yeah. Show me what you mean. Not stable, not so stable. Just stabilize your hand. So umefanya jina record ikakuja wapi? Yes, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, if you the one that you're not using now, you can delete it because it will confuse you. That's why I'm saying you can clear the ones that you are not now using. You can see if I have, for example, gender, you can see I can even forget to use this gender and I use this one. But still this is wrong, right? So that's why I'm saying just clear this one. And you can drag this one up there. If you want, you can drag it up there. Just click from the number 11, then drag it where you want it to be. Okay? The same this one. This other side, ukikuja hii side unajua inakuja ndio hii inakuja. But you can even drag it. Unaona unaweza leta huku hadi huku mwisho. Okay? So make sure you're on variable view and data view. You know where you are, okay? Yeah. Then Doris, your hand was up. Uh-huh. Joy, are you okay with whatever we have done today? Recording peke yake before I go to the others. Joy. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I want you to go to that the other video. Make sure umeiwatch yote. In case umesahau mahali utaniambia. Sylvester, you are now okay? Mm-hmm. Yes. Uh-huh. Now you're supposed for Kobo you just download the file as Excel. Unaona venye naweza kuja hapa nitafute Excel file. Let's say software, then I come and download. Like there's a way you can download. I don't know whether you guys are taught how to download the file as an Excel file from Kobo. So for instance, if I download an Excel file, come on, I'm using Excel file, I can download an Excel file. Let's say assignment one. I come to assignment one, then I download. Now from there, once it's downloaded, you go to your you can see it's coming here, then already it's there. So I won't download it anymore for the second time. Just come to this point, file, open, data. So from here navigate mali hiko, this drop down arrow hapa itakusaidia kama iko kwa downloads, enda kwa downloads. Then kwa downloads utaiona unless we change hapa to what, to either Excel. So you'll see them as an Excel file, or kama ni CSV you'll see make sure you check CSV. These are CSV. A CSV is what you call a comma separated file. It is an extension file for comma separated values. So make sure if it's an Excel, make sure you check, and then see my sent one and click open. So once you click open, it brings you this window, or it opens automatically. So when it opens automatically, I already have the variable. You can see they are here. And if I come to data view, I have them here. So the only thing, these ones are not changing, but I need to make sure that they're changing. You can see smoking status, we have to 1 for yes and 2 for no. The same to these ones. The ones that you're seeing, like they're having 1 and 2. Age, you can see the age here and then the idea here. Of course, ID you can't analyze, but you have them because of the uniqueness of these variables. So that is basically how to get your data into SPSS. Just download it as an Excel file or as a CSV. The next part we are going to do is simple. I want just to talk about it before I do it. Frequency. So frequency is done for categorical variable. I don't know whether you said that one last week. This is done for categorical. So if you have any categorical variable, so for instance, if I tell you now, Doris, to identify categorical variable from this data set, can you tell me any categorical variables? Look at this one. Can you give me categorical variables, Doris? Yeah, the one for job cut. Yes, this is categorical good. You can see it's changing. Gender good, and minority, right? So basically, that is how to identify categorical. If I tell you to identify numerical variables, Just look zenye ziko na number. ID is numerical, but you can't analyze ID. Education numerical. Age, salary, job time, previous experience. Those are numerical variables. So sometimes the first thing is you're asked to identify categorical and numerical variables. So if you have once we identify the categorical variable, then you know that we can only run frequency for categorical variables. So in this case, I can run frequency for all my category. Since Doris has identified for us categorical variable being gender, job cut, and minority classification. These are repetition of just gender. So don't worry about it. So I'm going to come to analyze frequency, descriptive, then frequencies. Analyze, let me repeat. I'm going to take a screenshot as well. You have the video as well, so don't even worry. Analyze, descriptive, then frequency. Let me take a screenshot just for the sake of somebody who might be using the notes alone. So the process is as simple as that. Analyze, then go to descriptive, statistics, then go to frequency. That is as simple as that. Transfer your variables of interest. Transfer the only categorical variables. Transfer only categorical variables. Transfer only categorical variables. So how do I do that? I'm just here, analyze, frequency, then you will see the categorical. They have the same icon. So once you identify one, just choose the others as well. So this is basically what you get. Gender, copy this one, take it to your word. You have gender, employment category, and the last one was minority classification. So if you forget one, just go back, reset. You can reset, then just add the one that you forgot, which was minority classification, and click OK, and it will be added here. So I have these ones. I can talk about copy and paste it to your interpretation. So how do you interpret these values? So these are my values. So basically, I can talk about table above. The table above presents gender, gender distribution of the individuals who took part in the research. See how I'm doing it? Out of the 474 individuals or respondents, the majority, which is 54%, were males. This is represented by 258 individuals. Okay. The minority, 45%. So you can put 216 in bracket. Were the males, the females. So this table underscores this table above underscores gender distribution. showing that the dominant males are the dominant individuals who took part. Basically, that is it. This last part might not even be very serious or very important. So basically, this is how to come up with an explanation for your. Once you come up with a frequency table, just know how to interpret it. It's as simple as this one. It is very direct. Copy this table. Leave alone this other part when you're talking about cumulative. Again, you can even delete this one, the one for cumulative and the other. They are not making sense. So delete the entire columns. Just remain with this one. Format it well. Again, you need to learn something on how to format your work. Format it to look better and good. I don't think where this one. So basically, make sure it's well formatted and something that looks nice. You can center it. You can give it a table, gender distribution table maybe 1.1, gender distribution. I hope you guys are seeing how to explain these things. Aha, Doris, unaona venye tunafanya hii kitu? Yeah, so basically this is what you always do, especially if you look at, even if you're answering the objectives, just make sure but the easiest part is because the analysis is always the easiest part. You don't even need to think of what you're writing. You don't need to go to GPT to help you. You just write the numbers the way they are. If you look at, for example, how I did that study, I was showing you guys. It is very simple, very direct. I don't know. It's sometimes the easiest thing you can ever do because you just read chapter 4. The others in your wanaenda kutafuta na theories. So in this chapter, we present, analyze, and interpret the data collected from. So basically something on Baseli, focusing on. So look at it. Demographic. I just prepared one table to represent almost everything: gender, age brackets, marital status, education level. And if you look at the explanation down here, it's direct the way I'm talking about. In table 4 provides a comprehensive breakdown of this demographic. The majority respondents are male, and the bracket the females this one. So this one basically it's important because this gender distribution could basically influence perspective of land use given the potential in different roles and interactions. So that is basically part we had on explaining or trying to expound on why gender is important to this study. Look at the age group. In terms of age, the largest group fall between these ones, percentage they make a bracket, followed by the youngest for the middle, then the least were, you can see. It's as simple as that. Then you go to your what? The next part where majority of them will be answering using frequency. That's why you need to understand. Now objective one was in terms of assessing land use changes, especially due to those cases. You just find the mean. This was where you're finding the mean. It's direct, very direct. And these frequencies are the ones that make this analysis look nice. Let me put my minute to charge, just 1 minute. So if you look at this one, it's something you can do very easy. And how you answer them, how you are, if whether you're doing your own research, whether you're doing for your organization, this is an operation research. Majority of these questions you'll be answering using the frequency. That's why you need to understand how to explain. You can see this objective two was something on changes in the lion population at this place called Oloka. I don't know where that place is. I was just given the data once the data was collected using Onkobo, where you just have somebody hosting you somewhere and you make sure you cover it really well. Objective two was examining something on three effects of land use. Again, you can see the majority of this part is basically frequency. The last part was where we are doing a hypothesis test, of which we'll see how to do this and come up with a table that really answers. So the chi-square results, I don't want to get to those parts, but I was just showing you to tell you that it's very simple, very direct. This is frequency. So frequency, we run it for categorical variables. Now let's go to descriptive. Descriptive. Let me go to descriptive. Descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics. So this is where we run what we call measures of central tendency. Measures of central tendency. So what are these? These are basically mean. We talk about median. We talk about mean, median, standard deviation, STD. I think those are mode. Again, you can include things to do with minimum, maximum, standard deviation, which is a measure of variability. Things to do with I think those are the major ones. These are the major ones. These are the things that you will be doing majority of the time. Especially the first three. These ones are the one you'll be really dealing with. The ones I'm talking about. These ones. So when do we run these measures of central tendency? So measures of central tendency, on, we run them on numerical variables. We run them on what? Numerical variables. So what do I mean by numerical variables? Numerical variables are numeric. So basically numeric variables. So if I tell you now, I want you to I want Sylvester to identify for us the numerical variables. How can you identify the numerical variables, Sylvester, from this data set? Identify for me the numerical variables. Yes, good. Uh-huh. Good. So I'll begin. Yeah, you can just see them. Basically, that is how you identify them. So the most appropriate, yeah, exactly. The most appropriate test, maybe analysis to run for any numeric variable is what you call descriptive statistics or what you call measures of central tendency. So in most cases, we'll be talking about measures of central tendency. What is measures of? It basically underlies a theory called the central limit theorem, where the theory said that given the data is large in like the values are large enough, then the majority of people will tend to fall at the center. Okay, majority of the people, given the sample size is large enough, the majority of the people will always be at the center, be at the middle. That's why this median mode is the most frequent, median is the middle, mean is the average. Mean is what you call a typical value of distribution. Okay, so the theory tells us that given the number is large enough, then majority will be at the center. If you try to find the mean age of Kenyans, you'll find them being about, let's say, where the majority falls, where the frequent, okay, where we have the frequencies of high, let's say 30 to 40. Majority of Kenyans fall there, or below 20, or somewhere at 20. So those are the numbers that describe the middle. These parameters, they describe whatever lies at the center. Central limit theorem. Okay, so how do you do this one in SPSS? Come to SPSS, analyze, descriptive, then go to descriptive. So here only transfer the numerical variable, starting with, you can't analyze employee code, you can't analyze date of birth. I'm going to analyze what? Current salary. You can analyze beginning salary, you can analyze month since hired, you can analyze previous experience. So if I click OK, it gives me a table with the n, minimum, maximum, mean, and the standard deviation. So how do you explain this one? Just take your table to Word document. Take it to your Word document. So let me repeat how to run it. Nimefanya haraka. Please, if I'm going fast, you tell me. Come to analyze, descriptive, then descriptive. Now don't go to frequency. You go to what? Descriptive. Let me screenshot that and take it to your Word document in case you don't have the time to go through the video, because video is not edited. I just send it raw. the way we. So this is basically it. You can format this one better, make the numbers to align at the center.